Listen, if you woke up today feeling sore, tight, stiff, drained, good, that's the tax of progress. That's the receipt that proves you actually showed up to your own life. Because the truth is simple, most people want strength without sacrifice. They want power without pressure. They want results without resistance. But that's not how this works. Not in the gym, not in life, not anywhere that matters you want to talk about. Sore today, strong tomorrow. Then understand this strength is not built when things feel easy. Strength is built when things feel impossible. And you style show up. Pain is the indicator. Discomfort is the signal. Soreness is the message your body sends to confirm one thing: you are changing. But here's the danger. Most people misinterpret that message. They feel soreness and think it's a reason to slow down, a reason to rest, a reason to break the promise they made to themselves. They see soreness as a warning. I see it as proof. Proof that you are forging a harder, sharper, more disciplined version of yourself. You want to be strong tomorrow, then you pay for it today with sweat, with grit, with work, with consistency. If you're looking for easy, stop listening now. If you're looking for motivation that just feels good, click away. This is for the people who actually want transformation, real transformation, earned through discipline and discomfort. You feeling sore today? Good, because tomorrow you're going to be stronger. THRALYOFPI, and pain isn't the enemy. Pain is the compass. People run from it. They chase shortcuts, hacks, motivation boosters, whatever trendy nonsense is floating around the internet this week. But the uncomfortable truth is this: you cannot bypass pain and expect to gain strength. Think about every strong person you admire, physically, mentally, strategically. None of them got there through comfort. They got there because they had the courage to push into the places where most people quit. Soreness is not failure. Soreness is adaptation. Soreness is the tearing down of who you were so you can rebuild into you're supposed to become. You want to be strong tomorrow, then earn it today. Lift when your muscles are screaming. Run when your lungs burn. Work when your mind begs for comfort. Show discipline when weakness starts whispering excuses into your ear. That's how you evolve. That's how you transform. That's how you become someone other people look at and say, damn, that person operates on a different level. And they're right, because you chose discomfort. You chose soreness. You chose the harder path. Every rep you forced out yesterday is building power inside you today. Every step you pushed through yesterday is building endurance today. Every moment you wanted to stop but didn't is forging a stronger version of you right now. So the next time your body aches, the next time your arms feel heavy, the next time you stand up and your legs shake a little, smile. Because you're not breaking. You're building. Start now. No excuses, no retreat. Overnight, over, mota, I, let's get something straight. Motivation is unreliable. Motivation is emotional. Motivation shows up when it feels like it and disappears the second things get tough. If your entire plan for getting stronger depends on feeling motivated, you've already lost. Because the days that matter most, the days that define you, are the days when you don't want to do a damn thing. When you're tired, when you're stressed, when you're busy, when you're sore, when every excuse sounds perfectly reasonable. Those are the days when your future self is watching you closely, waiting to see what kind of person you actually are. And that's where discipline steps in. Discipline doesn't negotiate. Discipline doesn't ask how you feel. Discipline doesn't care if you're sore. Discipline says, you made a commitment, now honor it. You want to talk about sore today, strong tomorrow. Here's the truth. Tomorrow only gets stronger if today's discipline wins over today's discomfort. You push because you said you would. You train because it's part of who you're trying to become. You show up because skipping is no longer an option you're willing to accept. People love the idea of strength, but they hate the process. They want the outcome, not the grind. But strength doesn't come from wishing. Strength comes from consistency, from repetition, from showing up over and over and over, especially when it's brutal. Anybody can train on their best day. That's easy. That means nothing. What separates you from everyone else is what you do on your worst day. So when you wake up and your body feels like it's been hit with a sledgehammer, perfect. That's your opportunity, your advantage, your edge, because everyone else is quitting on those days you won't. You're building a different kind of strength, not the cute Instagram version, Not the trendy rise and grind buzzword garbage. I'm talking about real strength, the kind that lasts, the kind that endures, the kind that makes you unshackable. Discipline is the architect. Soreness is the proof. Strength is the result. Get up, execute, do the work. Today. Dumbo had all your ID starts out yo. Here's the part nobody likes to talk about. Your biggest enemy, it's not the weight, it's not the soreness, it's not the lack of time, the lack of energy, or the lack of perfect conditions. It's your mind. Your mind will lie to you every single day. It will tell you you're too tired, too sore, too busy, too overwhelmed. It will tell you the work can wait, the workout can wait, the progress can wait. It whispers the most destructive phrase a human being can listen to. You can do it tomorrow, but tomorrow is a trap. Tomorrow is how people stay weak. Tomorrow is how potential dies. When you're sore, your mind sees an opening, a chance to pull you back into comfort. It'll say, you need rest. It'll say, you're pushing too hard. It'll say, take a day off. You earned it. And sometimes rest is necessary, but most people don't rest. They quit. They call quitting recovery to make themselves feel better. There's a difference, a big difference. When your mind starts negotiating with you, that's when you have to become ruthless. You have to recognize the lies. You have to confront them, and you have to shut them down, because strength isn't just built in your muscles. It's built in your decisions. It's built in the moments when you override the weakness inside your own head. Let me be direct with you. If you only train when you feel good, you'll never get anywhere. If you only work when everything's perfect, you'll stay average for the rest of your life. The people who actually change, the people who transform their bodies, their habits, their lives, they don't rely on feelings, they rely on commands. They tell their mind what to do. They don't wait for permission. They don't wait for motivation. They don't wait for the soreness to fade away. They act. So the next time that voice inside you says, skip today, take it easy, you've done enough, I want you to respond with one sentence. I'm not listening. And then you go anyway. You show up, you train. You push, you execute, not because it's comfortable, not because it feels good, but because you refuse to let weakness make your decisions for you. Every time you override that inner voice, you build mental armor. You strengthen the one muscle people ignore the most, your will. Sore today. Good. Your mind will attack you harder, but you'll win harder. No excuses. No hesitation. Move. People keep trying to escape pressure. They treat pressure like it's something to avoid, something to fear, something that means they're doing too much. They don't get it. Pressure is the birthplace of power. Look at steel. Look at diamonds. Look at muscle fibers tearing under load. Look at every warrior athlete, leader, or high-performing human being on the planet. None of them were built in comfort. Not one. They were built in environments that demanded more than they thought they had. Environments that forced them to adapt or break. And here's the uncomfortable truth you need to hear. If you're not feeling pressure, you're not leveling up. You're maintaining. You're coasting. You're staying exactly where you are. Soreness is pressure. Fatigue is pressure. The grind is pressure. But pressure isn't your enemy. It's the stimulus your body and mind use to grow. When you lift heavy weight and your muscles shake, that's pressure. That's performance. That's progress. When you're pushing through that last rep with everything you've got, that's pressure upgrading you from who you were into who you're trying to become. But here's the part that separates the discipline from the average. How you respond to pressure determines who you become. Most people fold. They crack. They retreat into comfort. They think pressure is punishment. It's not. It's an invitation. Pressure asks a simple question. Are you serious about strength or just talking about it? And if you're serious, you walk toward pressure, not away from it. You step into the soreness. You train when your legs feel unstable. You keep going when your lungs burn. You maintain discipline when your energy is shot. Every time you do that, you reinforce a powerful truth inside yourself. I can handle more. And once you realize that, once you understand that pressure doesn't break you, it builds you. Your entire approach to life changes. Challenges stop scaring you. Soreness stops discouraging you. Hard days stop throwing you off course. Because now you know pressure creates power. You just have to withstand it long enough for the transformation to happen. So the next time you feel it, don't step back. Lean in, apply force, push through. That's how you unlock strength tomorrow, by embracing the struggle today. Execute, no retreat, forward. Let's cut through the nonsense. People love the idea of hard work, but they treat it like a special event, something they do when they're hyped up, motivated, pumped, or chasing a temporary burst of inspiration. That's not strength. That's not discipline. That's adrenaline, and adrenaline fades. Consistency is what separates the unstoppable from the forgettable. Not one great workout, not one intense week, not one moment of peak motivation. I'm talking about showing up every single day, even when you're tired, even when you're busy, even when you're stressed, even when the soreness sits deep in your bones and whispers, take the day off. Consistency is how you build real strength. Consistency is how you transform your body. Consistency is how you rewire your mindset. And here's what people don't want to admit. Most of them are inconsistent not because they're incapable, but because they're undisciplined. They want progress without pattern, results without repetition, strength without structure. That's not how this works. You want sore today, strong tomorrow. Then understand this. Tomorrow doesn't care about your intentions. It only cares about your repetitions. Your body adapts to what you repeatedly do. Your mind adapts to what you repeatedly tolerate. Your life adapts to the standards you consistently enforce. When you show up day after day, the soreness becomes part of the process. A familiar signal, a badge of honor, proof that you're pushing your limits. And eventually, something powerful happens. You stop negotiating. You stop hesitating. You stop waiting for the right moment. A training stops being a choice. It becomes identity. You wake up sore and you still train. You feel heavy and you still execute. You're drained from yesterday and you still put in the reps. This is what people call or grind or hustle. I call it something different, normal. Because when you commit to consistency, when you make discipline your default setting, you become unstoppable. You don't need motivation. You don't need hype. You don't need permission. You just do the work. Every day you show up, even at 50%, 40%, 30%, you build a version of yourself that doesn't break under pressure. A version of yourself that other people look at and think, how the hell do they keep going? The answer is simple: consistency. The real superpower, the one edge anyone can earn, but almost nobody chooses. So, while the crowd waits for motivation, you'll already be halfway through the workout. While they complain about how sore they are, you'll be embracing it. While they plateau, you'll be rising. Show up every day. No excuses. THBRATHROGH, mom, MT. There's a point in every journey, physical, mental, personal, where things stop being hard and start becoming different. Not easier, different. That moment when the soreness doesn't scare you anymore, when the heaviness in your legs or the tightness in your shoulders doesn't feel like a warning, it feels like a signal that you're stepping into new territory, a level most people never reach, because most people quit right before the breakthrough, right before their body adapts, right before their mindset shifts, right before the routine becomes identity. They stop because they mistake discomfort for danger. They feel pressure and assume they're doing something wrong. They feel soreness and assume they're overdoing it. But here's the truth you need to internalize. The breakthrough always hides behind the breaking point. Think about it. The rep you finish when you're fresh means nothing. The rep you force out when everything in you is begging to stop, that's the rep that changes you. The miles you run when you're energetic, that's maintenance. The miles you grind out when your lungs are on fire, that's evolution. The discipline you show when you feel unstoppable is easy. The discipline you show when you feel defeated is transformational. And once you push through that wall, once you break past the point where most people stop, you unlock something powerful, a new version of yourself. A version that understands its own capability. A version that doesn't fold under fatigue. A version that knows, without question, I can handle more than I thought. That's the breakthrough. Not the strength itself, but the realization that you can build as much strength as you're willing to suffer for. And let me be blunt, if you're sore today, if you're exhausted, if your body feels like it's being held together by sheer will, you are close. Closer than you think, closer than you've ever been. That's why it feels heavy. That's why it feels tough. That's why your mind is trying to negotiate with you. because you're standing at the border between who you were and who you're becoming. Cross it. Don't slow down. Don't retreat. Don't wait for perfect conditions. Push through the soreness. Push through the fatigue. Push through the excuses your mind keeps manufacturing. This is your test. This is your moment. Break through. And once you do, you'll never go back. This is where everything comes together. Not the hype, not the motivation, not the momentary surge of energy. Identity. Because at some point, this stops being about workouts, soreness, reps, or routines. It becomes about the kind of person you choose to be. Most people, they quit because quitting is familiar. Quitting is comfortable. Quitting is what they've practiced for years. But you're building a new identity, one rep at a time, one disciplined day at a time, one sore morning at a time. You're turning into the person who doesn't back down, who doesn't make excuses, who doesn't fold when things get uncomfortable. You're becoming the person who gets up even when it hurts, who pushes forward even when they're tired, who maintains discipline even when nobody's watching, especially when nobody's watching. Because that's the real test. It's not about how you act when people are cheering you on. It's about how you act when no one knows whether you showed up or not. Who are you when it's just you, the soreness, and the decision? That answer determines everything. You want to be strong tomorrow. Then you build a version of yourself today that refuses to quit under pressure. That's what makes you dangerous. That's what makes you rare. That's what makes you powerful. You're not just pushing through a workout. You're reprogramming your identity. You're stripping away weakness. You're forging resilience. You're proving that you can rely on yourself because you keep your own promises. Most people are spectators in their own lives. They talk about goals. They fantasize about transformation. They love the idea of changing, but they hate the process of changing. You're in the arena, taking the hits, feeling the soreness, earning every ounce of strength. And here's the truth. Once you become the person who does not quit, you become unstoppable in every area of life, not just in the gym, not just in your fitness, in everything. Discipline bleeds over. Strength spills into other domains. Pressure resilience becomes your competitive edge. You become the type of person who says, sore today. Good, I can still operate. The type of person who says, I don't need perfect conditions, I execute regardless. The type of person who says, I don't break, I adapt. And once that identity locks in, once you genuinely see yourself as someone who follows through, the world opens up. Not because it gets easier, but because you get stronger. This is who you're becoming, a person who refuses to quit. A person who acts with discipline, not emotion. A person who moves forward no matter how heavy the day feels. You're earning it, rep by rep, day by day. Sore today, strong tomorrow.